This video is brought to you significantly later than expected. It's still the same day, but I thought that right after work, I was gonna pull up somewhere, tell my story, and be done with it. But instead, I ended up coming straight home, eating definitely comfort food that I bought yesterday that is supposed to maybe be split between 6 to 8 servings, but I turned that into 2 servings. And then I said, you know what? I feel the way that I feel, but let me look at it even more objectively than I do. So today is Saturday, of course, in the world of retail. It sucks. It's busy everywhere that you go. There's crowds, there's kids, there's noise, there's people of all sizes, ages, groups of all sizes, kinds, whatever. But today, weirdly enough, I'm not here to talk about customers. No customers gave me issues, actually. I'm surprised. Nobody said anything stupid. Nobody tripped over anything at all. And I must say that I'm happy that I had that kind of day, because had I had customer drama on top of the other stuff that I experienced, I think I would have had to abandon my shift, because there's only so much that you should be expected to tolerate. For starters, I was by myself as a cashier for the first, let's see, 3 hours and a half of my shift. Maybe 3 hours and 3/4. Might as well round it to the first 4 fucking hours, right? Officially, I didn't have another cashier until 1 p.m. I had someone from the department who fulfills another role come in, and this was at, shit, what time did she come in? It was around 11. And of course, she had to be put on a register because I needed the backup. My managers had to occasionally get on a register as well because I needed the backup. But what bothered me about today is not the fact that it's a Saturday and it's fucking busy and busy things happen. Is, remember, I'm by myself. But as someone who's fit for the job, and I'm a veteran and I have my special skill set, whatever, if there's something that bothers me is if I'm requesting a tool to get my job done, don't deny me of it. Especially if we're encountering a crazy circumstance such as what we had today, which me being by myself is completely unacceptable. It's not rare, but it is unacceptable. If I'm asking you to bring me somebody to do something for me or to collaborate with me, whatever it is, supply it. Take action. Don't try to do your own thing. Don't try to come up with your version of providing me what I'm asking for. If I'm asking for someone with a name to do something specific, you get that somebody with that name to do the specific thing that I'm asking for. I've done this long enough. I don't care if you think this is arrogant. It's the truth. I am right very often. I make great calls very often. That's what experience does. That's what being a veteran does. It equips you with an intuitive sense of operation. You can just read the situation and come up with great solutions that are going to work out, because this comes from experience. I'm living in a time in which I am among the most experienced in my group. I'm not the most experienced, but when it comes to my time spent in my role, I'm definitely up there by now. So what this means in modern times is that I have invested my development doing what I'm doing in a way that's concurrent with everybody else, but my circumstance is unique because I have not quit, I have not transferred, I have not switched jobs, nothing like that. I am at the same location. I have been pretty much beat into shape by that place. The customers themselves, we have more than we ever have, but that core customers are still there. Therefore, I can make good guesses based on who they are. Based on those factors, that is why I summon you and I call you and I make the specific requests with the level of detail that I request. All of that has a reason. I already thought it through. All you have to do is use your telephone or whatever other medium of communication you have that I don't have to make those things happen. Unfortunately, the squad that I'm surrounded by, who are my superiors by job title, they don't have the experience of having observed all the shit that I have observed for about 11 years now. In that spot, in that place, in that location. Sometimes I just wish that in the same manner that I inherently respect them because of the position they hold, I wish that they would just trust me no matter how insane my request sounds, no matter what I may be asking for or whatever it is that I might be suggesting. Roll with it. Give it a shot, try it, and if it doesn't work, then we can talk about it later. But that hasn't happened. And it would take something extreme for that to happen because, again, my experience is doing the talking. It's not, oh, well, I'm overwhelmed and I'm desperate, therefore I'm trying to pull things out my ass to alleviate myself. Like, no, I survey the situation, evaluate my surroundings, and then that's how I determine what course of action we should perform. And that's when experience kicks in. And I keep emphasizing that on purpose. With all that said, today I'm not mad at people specifically. I'm mad about how that stuff happens in the first place. The people who put me in the position that I was in today, which is me being by myself, is not even people I report to. It's not even people I talk to daily. It's somebody has the final say on what the show is gonna look like, what the program is gonna look like. Now, those someones I don't even bother getting mad at because I know it's a battle I'm going to lose. And the only way I win it is the day that I quit. But that's not the point. That doesn't solve anything. But with my immediate squad, given their inexperience and given that I have taken the time to orient myself on the decisions that need to be made for the level of stress that we experience from time to time, such as today, I was thinking up solutions that other people simply were not thinking up or were considering but were not taking action with. And that's the part that upset me. You are an inexperienced superior. Everybody is inexperienced at something. We all start somewhere at some point. So I'm not mad at you as a person for being a beginner. But I am upset that if I'm making a suggestion, I'm not seeing any action, but also my hands are tied because I just so happen to not have the tools that I know I need to make that stuff happen. So for instance, me being by myself, I know exactly who I could have called to come over to provide additional support. But for some reason, my superiors were not thinking in that way because they had their hands tied up with other things. That's why the way I look at my role is I may be entry level, but I am super valuable because I can serve as your extra set of eyes. And these are not any ordinary extra set of eyes. These are experienced sets of eyes. If I'm already in that severely disadvantaged position, I would expect that if you hear me requesting certain tools, that you would make it a priority to supply what I ask for. It doesn't matter who says what, how people react, how people perceive it, how people hear you. It's the situation is evident. You can just face in my direction and see the trouble. Who cares? I'm just sad that I live in a time in which I have more experience than all of those folks combined. I'm happy working with them. I'm happy serving with them. But sometimes when I see inaction, I can't help but be a little salty about it. And again, I don't want to be mad at a person. I want to be mad at how things have played out. These people have not gotten the kind of training that we are used to. And nowadays, training is a miracle if we get around to it. And the quality of it has declined because we have gotten rid of the programs and resources that used to make it effective. For instance, having a live instructor. Now trainings tend to be almost like watching a YouTube video. You probably learn more from watching YouTube than what you gain in the real time. The only thing the real time gives you is the actual physical, fine manipulation, calibration, like you honing your skills, polishing yourself. That's it. I hope that makes sense. Today, I guess I couldn't just immediately film about this because even though what I'm saying is not much different from what I envisioned saying some 5 hours ago, I still prefer that I took the time to come here, chill out. I texted a friend, expressed whatever I felt like expressing. I got to see people today who I hadn't seen in a while who mean a lot to me, and I got their number, which we had lost because something happened to them that they had to get a new one, but they lost my number, so we found each other today. I also just needed to rest and see if emotionally I still felt that rage and anger, because I mean, I let it get to me. I allowed myself to get physically agitated, but while I was doing that job, as soon as I got into it, I'm like, okay, let me focus on this and let me work at my pace, but calmly. But at some point, when I would observe that the situation was worsening, and again, I started requesting what I needed, and I saw no action, that is when my stress just leveled up. And then I said, well, at least I was able to vent to someone before I left about exactly how I felt. I was pretty calm. I expressed similar points to what I just described, but this person is aware of what I have experienced anyway. So I just said the specifics of today. Like, hey, I'm not mad at a person. I'm just mad that this is a situation that they haven't been coached on how to handle. And I, as a veteran, since I've gone through this numerous times, I know exactly what to do, what kind of action to take. And it's like an automatic reflex. For these folks, it isn't yet. How can we get them to that level? Because unfortunately, in the working landscape of today, you need to grow within your role in a very short amount of time. Whereas before, when times were good, in the job market, I guess, where you progressed in your role at a normal pace and whatnot. To give you an example, your skill level that you should have when you're a year into a job, you probably need to have that within the first 2 weeks and a half. Weeks. We're trying to cram years worth of experience into a significantly shorter time frame. It's not going to work. It's not designed to work. It's not sustainable, and it's absurd to expect it. But that's why veterans are such a valuable resource nowadays. And people like me, again, as physically and mentally resilient as I am, you would want to take care of me because I'm one of the few absolutely reliable people who you have. And I'm already developing a sense of apathy. And once I develop a sense of apathy, it's hard to bring me back around. And I want to continue to cooperate, but if it brings me back to the situation that I experienced today, which I experience often, that doesn't motivate me into doing better or continuing to support the squad, the cause, if you want to call it that. Especially if at some point, as a company, decisions are going to be made that affect me negatively and it incurs losses. So how can you expect for me to be incentivized into working just as hard or as reliably if at the end of the day, at the end of the year, you're going to come out with a policy in which you're paying me less for something, or you're cutting funds to fund something that I don't get to enjoy or benefit from? That's what this is about. That's why I try to balance things, and I'm like, let me make it clear that I can commit to this much based on my position, my circumstances, and the ultimate reward that I see at the end of the day. If there's somebody getting away in my same role, getting more just because they work an extra shift in their week and they just so happen to have this prestigious title known as full-time, I'm not going to compete with that. If this person, less experienced, less skilled, gets better things, more things than I get, why the hell would I work harder than them? I know my value, but you don't value me. And I'm playing this game based on how I feel you value me. And when you make decisions like that, in which you take things away from me to give it to people who don't compare with me, that is when I have to be like, oh, okay, so if things are going to be like that, then sorry, I cannot be here a certain time of the day. Or sorry, I am not willing to participate in this project of yours to ensure your success, but I'm still, stuck down here. And moving up is not the answer. Because if it sucks at ground level, going further up is not going to make me feel better. It doesn't align with my morals, which is I'm a very simple person. Moving up means complicating your life. Why would I do that if that does not match my persona, personality, or goals? That's what this is about. That's when I get mad. When I can see that the disaster is affecting me unfairly and it doesn't need to, especially if I'm throwing the solution at you. When I request a tool or a person, I'm doing that to make myself feel good, feel well, feel better, because I know how important I am, how significant I am here at this time. The last thing you want to do is deprive me of that, because if you do that, I'm going to get burned the fuck out, I'm gonna get pissed, and I'm not going to perform to the capacity that you need me to. Period. That's reasonable. Well, there you guys have it. That's it from me. That's my rambling for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't expect for it to be full of sense because I deliberately tiptoe around what I'm saying. Maybe one day, if I have the privilege of not working a job like this anymore, I will have a rain of videos coming out in which I describe the situations that I never got to talk to you guys about, because those are things that I consider that, out of respect for my place, I should not discuss those things. But there's some stuff that I want to share so bad, but I want to do the right thing and describe them when I'm in the position to do so. And if it were me and I was running the show, first of all, it would be perfect. None of this shit would be happening. But I would want for somebody to have that level of respect and integrity like I'm displaying. So anyways, I'll see you next time.